Beneath the tranquil facade of nature's canopy, where the fire's glow barely touches the dark edges of the forest, lies a world of untold mysteries and unspoken fears. Tonight, we delve into the heart of this wilderness to uncover 3 chilling tales that are as real as they are terrifying. Gather around the campfire if you dare, as we explore the unknown and unsettling experiences of those who ventured into the wild. As I set foot on the rugged trails of the Appalachian Trail in northern Pennsylvania, my friend and I, seasoned backpackers, had just conquered a demanding hill. Our stomachs rumbled, signaling it was time for lunch. We had initially planned to eat at a shelter 2 miles ahead, another hill awaiting us. But the promise of water at the shelter swayed our decision. Upon arriving at the shelter, we encountered a man who, at first glance, appeared to be just another hiker. However, something about him was off. He was scrabbling through an old, worn backpack, eking out the last crumbs from a Fritos bag. His presence in this wilderness setting felt strangely incongruous. Curious, we inquired whether he was backpacking or just out for a day hike. Without making eye contact, he muttered, "Backpacking." Probing further, we asked if he was section hiking or through hiking the entire trail. His response was peculiar and vague. I'm just hiking through." Our conversation, if it could be called that, was one-sided. He dodged our questions, offering little in the way of answers. Abruptly, he declared, "I gotta go," hastily packing his belongings. On a whim, we asked for his trail name, a common practice among AT hikers. He seemed perplexed, a clear sign that he was no regular hiker. Hastily, he claimed his name was Hatchet, a dubious choice, especially as he clutched a pack-axe in his hand. Leaving this unsettling encounter behind, we continued our journey and eventually settled at our campsite for the night. I was nestled in my hammock, my backpack securely wrapped around the tree it hung from, when a rustling sound jolted me awake. It was Hatchet rummaging through my backpack, his actions sending tremors through my hammock. I yelled out, startling him. He paused, his gaze locking with mine for a chilling second, before he vanished into the night. A quick inventory revealed he had stolen a pack of tuna and some granola bars. The true horror of the encounter dawned on us the next day. Back in town, while dining at a local diner, we stumbled upon a wanted poster. The man we knew as Hatchet was a fugitive, implicated in a series of violent muggings. The poster detailed how he had ambushed unsuspecting hikers, assaulting them with brutal force and leaving one victim severely injured. His method was predatory, striking in isolated spots along the trail, where his victims felt most secure in their solitude. The encounter at the shelter took on a sinister hue. We reported our experience to the police, but were left in the dark about whether Hatchet was ever apprehended. That mysterious, unsettling figure on the trail lingered in our minds, a ghostly reminder of the unexpected dangers that can lurk in the woods. As a woman who had mastered the art of camping and survival, I thrived on the solitude and challenge of the wild. My passion for solo adventures often led me to embark on 2-week-long journeys, immersing myself in nature's embrace, far from the hustle of daily life. Before each expedition, I would make a brief stop at a store a few hours from my destination, gathering supplies for the days ahead. That brief interaction with civilization was usually my last until I returned. I remember my last solo trip vividly. It began like any other. After stopping at the store for supplies, I noticed a man in a truck parked by the road, absorbed in fishing. Little did I know, he would be the last person I'd see for the duration of my trip. In the wilderness, my companions were the bears, moose, and other wildlife. I spent my days wandering through the woods, reading by the campfire, and enjoying the serene beauty of the unspoiled landscapes. Photography was a crucial part of my adventures. On each trip, I would carry 10 to 14 disposable cameras, capturing the breathtaking vistas and serene moments of solitude. These photographs were my way of holding on to the peace I found in the wilderness. A couple of days after returning from one such journey, I took my cameras to be developed, eager to relive my experiences through the images. I settled comfortably at home, sifting through the pictures with a sense of nostalgia. The first few rolls were as expected: landscapes, wildlife, and candid shots of my campsite. However, as I reached the fifth or sixth roll, my heart stopped. Every third or fourth picture was an image of me sleeping, each taken on a different night. In those moments, captured without my knowledge, I was completely vulnerable, lost in slumber, oblivious to the silent observer in the shadows of my campsite. The realization that someone had been so close, watching me night after night, sent a shiver down my spine. I had been so certain I was alone, never once sensing another presence. The shock was profound. I had always prided myself on my awareness, my connection to my surroundings. Yet here was an undeniable proof that someone had breached the sanctum of my solitude. The thought of a stranger lurking in the dark, documenting my most private moments, was terrifying. Who was this person? What were their intentions? The impact of this discovery was immediate and lasting. The woods, once a sanctuary, now felt menacing. The tranquility I had once found in the solitude of nature was replaced by an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. My husband, aware of the change in me, tried to encourage me to return to camping, but the fear was too deep-seated. I couldn't bring myself to step foot in the woods again, let alone embark on a solo trip. The experience haunted me. It raised unanswerable questions about the intentions of the unknown photographer. Was it the man I saw fishing? Someone else I had unknowingly crossed paths with? Or a shadow that had followed me, unseen and unheard? The photographs offered no clues, only the chilling evidence of my unseen observer. This harrowing experience was a turning point. It taught me a harsh lesson about the unpredictability of the wilderness and the illusion of solitude. The forests that I once saw as a refuge now held a sinister note, a reminder that even in the vast openness of nature, one is never truly alone. The memory of those photographs, of the unseen eyes that watched me as I slept, lingered long after the trip ended, a ghostly presence in the back of my mind. As I moved forward, the wilderness became a distant memory, a chapter of my life closed by an unseen hand. The joy of solo camping was replaced by a wariness of the unknown, a caution that kept me away from the woods I once loved. The wild had shown me its other face, and I could never look at it the same way again. After finishing our GSCEs, a sense of freedom and adventure filled the air as my friends and I decided to go camping. The weather was perfect, and to our delight the sprawling campground was almost deserted, save for us and a group of Irish scouts. This serendipitous meeting led to a shared camaraderie, and we soon found ourselves mingling with them, along with the young guys who managed the activities on the site. The rules were clear. Activities had to be booked and paid for in advance. However, the staff, perhaps driven by boredom and the sparse occupancy, generously let us engage in anything that didn't require costly equipment. This unexpected kindness added a thrill to our otherwise typical camping trip. As the days passed, our bonds with the scouts and the staff strengthened. We shared stories, laughed together, and embraced the carefree spirit that only comes with youth and open skies. On our final night, the staff decided to treat us to a ghost walk. It was marketed as a spine-tingling experience, but to our amusement, it turned out to be disappointingly tame. The lack of scares led to our group hijacking the narrative, entertaining our guides with our own versions of creepy tales, our laughter and mock-scary voices echoing in the darkness. The night grew deeper, and the time to retire to our tents approached. We made our way across the field, still chuckling and sharing light-hearted banter. That's when the atmosphere shifted. One of the girls in our group, her voice slicing through the night, suddenly asked, "What's that in front of our tent?" About 30 feet away, a short, white figure was pacing in front of one of our tents. Despite the darkness, its form was unmistakably solid against the night. The jovial mood evaporated in an instant, replaced by a tense, eerie stillness. Then, without warning, the figure ceased its pacing and charged towards us. Panic erupted. I, along with my friends, bolted. Adrenaline surged through my veins as I ran faster than I ever thought possible, my shoes lost in the chaos of our flight. I didn't stop, not even as the terrain shifted from grass to the unforgiving hardness of the tarmac road, my feet pounding against it as I raced towards the safety of the activities buildings. We weren't alone in our frantic escape. The scouts, equally terrified, accompanied us, their numbers bolstered by several burly guys wielding large lanterns. Our collective fear was palpable, a thick, tangible thing that seemed to hang in the air as we made our way back to the tents. But when we returned, armed with lanterns and the safety of numbers, the figure was gone. The night had reclaimed its stillness, the only evidence of the incident being the lingering fear in our hearts and the empty space where the mysterious figure had been. The incident left us shaken, the mystery of the white figure haunting our thoughts. Who or what was it? A trick of the light? A prankster? Or something else? Something unexplainable? The rest of the night was restless, our laughter gone, replaced by hushed conversations and uneasy glances towards the darkness outside our tents. This experience marked the end of our carefree camping adventure. It introduced a sense of vulnerability, a reminder that even in the midst of friendship and laughter, the unknown can intrude, leaving behind questions and a subtle, lingering fear. The memory of the white figure, real or imagined, stayed with us, a ghostly imprint on an otherwise idyllic trip. It was a reminder that sometimes, the truest adventures come not from the activities we plan, but from the unexpected encounters that leave us questioning, wondering, and perhaps a little afraid of the mysteries that lurk in the darkness.